next step is. So I'm going to sit back down here and show you a few things. One of the materials that I have is this print block, and the other material that I have is this fun foam. I don't know if you can tell. The fun foam has an adhesive backing, so we can cut out shapes with the scissors, and then we can put it onto this backing and make a print block from it that way. This sun is a good example of one. So if your design has a lot of simple shapes, it would probably be easiest to cut those shapes out with the scissors on the fun foam and then mount them onto the backing. Okay. So that's one way of doing it. And some of your designs are going to work that way best. And I forgot one more piece of thing. One more thing that I need here. For those of you that have a more complicated design, we'll use this soft cut material, and you're going to be using a linoleum knife to cut out the design. So I'm going to use this basketball that I came up with as an example. I'm outlining the part that I want to print. I've got a piece of tracing paper that I laid over the top of the design. Transferring the design. I'm going to go ahead and fill this in with the charcoal pencil. Because I know that's what I want to keep. This design is probably simple enough that I can cut it out either way, but I'm going to demonstrate it, cutting it out on a linoleum material. Let's see, I better get a piece of the white material so it shows up a little better. So I transferred the design onto this piece of tracing paper. I'm going to lay this over the top of the print block, charcoal side down against the material, and then I'm going to rub it. So I'm transferring the design onto this material. And this helps me know where I'm going to be cutting. This linoleum knife, you can see it here. The edge here is very sharp. It's like a razor blade. So there's some precautions. You have to be very careful with this tool. And I don't know that any of you have ever used this type of tool, but it's important that you keep you use your dominant hand. So if you're right-handed, you would use your right hand. If you're left-handed, you would use your left hand. And you hold the tool with so you're using the tool with the hand that you normally write with. other hand, you're going to hold your print block still. And I'm going to start out by kind of digging down a little bit. See at the angle that I have the tool to the surface. And then I'm going to pull it down a little bit once I have it entered there. And I'm going to cut. I'm going to go, I think I'm going to start by going around the outside. And notice my hand, I'm rotating the block so that I'm keeping my hand away from the direction of the tool, because I don't want to accidentally push this and cut myself. So I want to keep my other hand back behind here. And I'm going to be cutting away all of the white material. So that I'm keeping just the black part. Continue to cut out more of this background material. And notice that my hand is back behind here. So, and then I would continue cutting more of this area out. Now, I'm going to show you the alternative way of using this material. I can take that same drawing that I had and lay it on this film material and transfer the design. I'm hoping there's still enough charcoal there to get that design transferred. Okay, yeah, so it's enough that I can see it. And I can take the scissors. Cut around the outside shape. And then I'm going to cut these shapes out. On the scissors, when you're cutting this way, if you cut in and stop and then rotate it, or if you have triangular shape, instead of turning back out that way, I go back out from the outside and cut in. Oh, I'm sorry. That I could do with this is I have a decision to make. When I mount this, I could stamp either the positive or the negative. So I could put this back in there and mount it that way and print that background, or I can try to reassemble this. This might be challenging. But I've got my shapes of the basketball. This is like pieces of a puzzle. Let's see if this looks like a basketball or not. cut the pieces out and you reform it. To make your basketball. And I don't think I have these on quite right, but you get the idea. So you can reform your shapes by cutting out the shapes and putting it in. Might be that we need to number them so we can figure out where they go back. So there's two ways of making the print block. Either by cutting the fun foam out and mounting onto the backing, we can then stamp with, or carving it out of the print block using the linoleum cutter. And so I'm going to need some help knowing which students are doing which techniques.